My secret, just do something that ain't nobody ever done before, but make it sound like something that's always been there forever.
Hello, welcome to This Filipino American Life, a podcast that explores the nuanced experiences of Filipinos in the United States at iba pa. My name is Joe Bernardo, and I'm joined by my fellow hosts,
Ryan Carpio,
Elaine Delales,
Mike. Hi.
and today we also have...
It's Girly!
Yay!
Yeah.
The people have asked for Girly.
Thank you.
That is why Girly is here.
To spite me.
No.
You ever go to work on a Friday and you expect like their boss isn't going to show up?
And then
they show up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is like today.
Oh.
Hey, boss.
Si, bossing.
Wow, Joe. That's a you seem
good analogy.
Great metaphor.
All
Sorry, analogy. Thank you.
So today we have a TFAL of the episode.
Yes, the T-Pal of the episode is Caroline Calderon. Caroline.
I'm not gonna do it.
I was waiting.
Dude, I was so...
not gonna do
I'm
it.
totally looking
All
at
right. Who is it?
Caroline Calderon.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Caroline.
Do you know
Thank
her?
you so much, Caroline,
No.
for your contributions to This Filipino American Life.
Yes, you deserve an air horn.
Wow.
Yeah.
Thank you, Caroline.
Air
Carol.
horns too? Nice.
I mean, it's right there. I had it ready.
Should we have like a new sound just for TFALs?
Oh, I have this. Here, wait. I mean,
What?
I don't know why. It says ham.
ham.
No.
Okay, well we'll figure it out.
Yeah.
Like a Filipino one.
Like a jeepney horn.
Oh my God. Yeah, that's like a whole song.
Oops. Hey, anyway. What are we talking about? Oh, wait. Sorry. Go ahead.
We don't have a voicemail today.
What?
We haven't had one since a few months ago.
Step it up, people.
Or text message.
Yeah,
works too.
none. I don't know what
People are on
happened.
summer break. They're on
Maybe.
vacation.
You should text us from vacation and tell us about your awesome vacations. Or leave us voicemails while you're on the beach
We have
drinking Mai
done
Tai.
so many sacrifices for everybody, but they don't want to call us anymore.
Yeah.
Wow.
Just like kids growing up, they don't ever want to call.
Maybe
Maybe we should
every
give them our number.
Sunday. You should go, "Isn't the number 805-394 TFAL?"
Sure. Is it?
Is it? I actually don't know.
You're the worst. 805-394 TFAL.
Yes, please call us. We get lonely sometimes, and that's what we expect every month. Is great voicemails from you.
And we play it on the air, so it'd be kind of nice
Yes.
to have other voices giving us a voicemail. So
Ask us questions. We'll probably have an answer a month later, but you'll get an answer.
All right, so today we are discussing weddings.
what?
Yeah. Party.
Weddings.
Weddings.
Oh, cool.
So next month in August is both of it's mine and Girly's wedding anniversary, and Elaine and Mike's wedding anniversary.
Cool.
And Ryan and... Oh, wait a minute.
Cool. Well, I'm looking forward to your guys' anniversary.
Hey, Ryan,
single-
don't you remember when you went to my wedding?
I did not go to your wedding, but I appreciate the invite.
You were invited.
I was in another wedding when you guys got married.
That's right.
Yeah. Anyway, so that's it about that.
Yeah. Hey, Ryan, remember when you went to Joe and Girly's wedding?
Oh, yeah. I hear it from a lot of people.
Yeah, weren't you there?
I was not there.
So it's the anniversary of Ryan missing 2 weddings.
So, yeah.
0 for
cool.
2, 0 for 2.
Yeah.
Oh,
so,
4-2.
share some interesting things that happened in your wedding so I can...
What do you-
Okay, I must clarify.
Oh, okay.
What
Here
happened?
we go.
I must
It's okay. It's okay. It got lost in the mail. It's fine.
I must clarify what happened.
Look,
Just like
Joe had not a very many people at his wedding. I heard 250. I could have been 251, but it's too much. It's okay. Joe Joe and Girly, Joe's a very popular guy, and
Okay, me and Ryan. Okay, our wedding was in 2010.
oh shit, dude, really?
Yes.
I thought it was
ours
earlier
in
than that.
2011.
And me and Ryan really became friends, really close friends in 2011.
Man, our laundry's just out there, isn't it, Joe?
So that's what happens at weddings. You invite people. You wish you invited people in hindsight. You wish you didn't invite people in hindsight.
250 of your closest friends.
And that's just what happens when you're a certain age and you have a wedding and you invite the people that you invite.
And to be clear, I'm not sore about it.
Whatever.
I'm not. I was probably unavailable. No, it's okay, Joe and Girly. It's fine. Now let's talk about weddings. Man, our business is out there, Joe.
Yeah, I know. What is
Well,
out there?
okay, first, before we even planned our wedding, there was a point in our lives where we were going to a wedding almost every other month.
I hated that part.
It was crazy.
Yeah, it was not me.
I think our record was 9 in 1 year.
Oh my
So
God.
weddings.
That was a combination of like family and friends.
We had 2 weddings in 1 weekend one time.
Yeah.
In one weekend?
Yeah,
Yeah.
so we didn't go to, so, each of us went to the respective parties.
Oh, we'd had.
No. We went to both of them, remember? And it was...
Oh yeah, you're
yeah,
right.
It was a
In
Jewish
San
wedding.
Francisco,
It was a Jewish wedding, so it was
So
on
you
a
went
Sunday.
on a Sunday.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
We did there. I think our max might have been 5, and then there was one where there were 2 family weddings in 1 month, and I was like mad because I was just like, I just saw you people 2 weeks ago, and I see you again.
Luckily, I don't get invited to weddings, so I don't go. I'm just kidding, Joe. No, mine. It's part of our age group, right?
Yeah.
So it's
Yeah.
kind of like a season. I guess in years, there's going to be those years where most people are probably getting
Yeah,
married.
so you go to a bunch of weddings, and then like you wait a couple years, and then it's always baby showers.
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah, it's kind of like the
cycle.
the cycle, the socialized
Yeah.
cycle that we have here among here in America.
Right.
Oh, and I do want to preface this discussion that it's very heteronormative,
Yeah.
right? So all of us are heterosexual,
Yeah.
and so maybe a lot of the discussion we're talking about will skew towards the heteronormative wedding traditions.
True.
So
And even the queer weddings we have gone to, like
Yeah.
they still had a few of the
for sure.
traditional wedding traditions. Wow.
Well, so what is,
I was like, what's the word? Traditions.
Well, weddings are heteronormative in general.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think throughout history they've been just uniting families to consolidate power and consolidate wealth.
Yeah, so much wealth between us, right, Mike?
but the whole wedding industry, I was really not into. I mean, prior to having to plan our own wedding, I had, planned different fundraising events and such. So I had an idea of how much things cost.
Mm-hmm.
And when you compare prices for a party versus a wedding,
They jack it up, don't they?
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So,
You should just say, I'm having a party, and then spring it on them. That
which is actually what I did
Oh,
when I
smart.
reserved the limo service for us. I said, no, I'm just having a party with,
Because if you had told them it
12
was
people.
a wedding, they would have like jacked the rate.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
That makes
That is
sense.
smart.
yeah.
So I went to this one wedding one time, and the priest was Filipino, and he said a joke during the homily. He goes, "There are 3 rings in marriage.
Oh, I can't wait. I can't wait.
There is the engagement ring, there's the wedding ring, and then there's the sofa ring."
What's hilarious is I've heard that probably from 2 other Filipino priests.
Wait, the priests are just sharing this joke?
Yeah, man.
Everybody's
There's
saying
they
it.
have like a circle.
Yeah, they probably have a manual in seminary.
Let's see a Filipino wedding. Page 3.
3 rings.
3 rings. I'm gonna use that. Oh man.
Well, that's funny because like that's probably a joke all Filipino priests say. Like there are certain games that I play at Catholic weddings because it's Catholic with specific. It's which reading is it going to be?
Yes.
And I always
too,
play.
me
Is it
too.
going to be Corinthians? Please be Corinthians. And when they start, love is patient, love is kind. I'm like, yes, I won the choosing the readings game.
I also like the gazelle reading.
I feel
I don't-
like
I
that's
don't
more
even- I don't know
progressive.
where that-
I don't know what it is.
I don't know where that is in the Bible, but yeah, whenever it's more rare, but it's a passage about some gazelle like trolloping through the
Yes,
forest.
Man.
because there's only like when you get married in the church, they give you like 4 or 5 readings to pick from.
yeah.
You get to choose it.
And you have to choose. And so like love is patient, love is kind is like the most popular one.
Yeah.
The gazelle one I think is the second most
See, you
popular.
know what I'm
I
talking
totally know
about.
what you're talking
Okay.
about. I don't remember the third.
I don't pay attention to the readings. Well, I've done I've sung at weddings.
What are the songs that you have
Oh,
sung?
I don't know. Just church songs.
One bread, one body?
You know, all that good stuff. But so most of the time, if I'm participating in a wedding, like a Filipino American wedding, if I'm singing, I don't pay attention to the readings. I know the love is patient, love is kind one, so I don't really listen to the because like I'm like, oh shit, I gotta perform, kind of thing. So
One of my best friends was getting married, and my other best friend, he had to do one of the readings, right? And so he was talking to the wedding coordinator, and the wedding coordinator said, "Oh, I'm gonna have the reading up on the altar on the podium for you, so you don't have to bring your own." So then he had his own in his pocket, but then when the wedding coordinator said that, he just chucked it.
Yeah.
right?
Oh no.
He went up to the podium and couldn't find the reading.
Oh
Because
no.
apparently the wedding coordinator forgot to put it there, or like there was some miscommunication.
Oh no.
And he was up there for at least a minute, just looking around, looking through the book to see if they're shuffling
He was
through the
shuffling
papers.
the pages.
licking his thumb.
And he was like adjusting the mic and just trying to like waste time.
Oh my god.
He eventually just found some random reading,
And he just kind of went.
and
with
he
it?
just went with it. And I think it had like talking about the devil. And, like, it was Revelation.
Fire and brimstone and the heavens parting, like something coming down
Oh, that's
to
awesome.
reign over the world.
the suffering part.
Oh my god! I was watching it happen. I'm like,
Oh, no.
what?
Yes.
I don't think that's the right reading.
That's not love is patient, love is kind.
And then the eyes of the bride were just so wide. Oh my god, it was just amazing.
It was memorable.
Yes, yes.
That's good. I imagine
memorable.
like, a lot of the memories that we have are kind of come from like this very traditional, like, I mean, most of us probably have gone to Catholic weddings where there's like, a mass.
Yes.
Right. And there's like
2-hour-long mass.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
really long masses where
Where you take the communion because you're hungry.
that too.
I've done that. I've totally done that.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm hungry. I'm gonna have communion. That at least it will be one wafer.
and some wine.
I don't do the wine because I'm like, if I'm that hungry and I drink this
I'm
wine,
gonna be drunk.
I'll be drunk.
I feel like that's not limited to just weddings. It's like anytime you go to church.
I'm hungry. I'll eat this communion wafer.
But it always kind of like fascinated me how like our traditional like Catholic things that come up with like sponsors and ninongs and ninangs. I don't know if
Yeah.
you guys had that, but
Yes, we did.
Yeah.
We had a lot.
Did you?
Like,
We
not too
did.
many. I mean, I went to one wedding where there was like 16, right?
Yeah, it was pretty.
They had a sponsor for everything.
There's like 10 couples, like 20.
I don't know
20
what,
people.
what are they supposed
It was
to do?
pretty
Like,
intense.
they do.
Do they actually give them
Sponsor,
money?
like
money.
sponsor, as in they're giving you money
Oh,
for
so-
an aspect of the wedding.
That's the point of sponsors is that they're supposed to actually financially sponsor.
Then that's
Yeah, I remember
awesome.
that happening.
Why wouldn't you get like 50?
Hand sponsor.
No, I mean no, but there's some folks who is it really like kind of like an obligation?
Yeah.
It's unspoken, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, yeah, it is unspoken. I
So-
mean, but they're
Yeah,
your
yeah.
ninang and ninong.
Yeah, Mike
Right.
says he doesn't really remember, but
I mean, they give us a decent gift.
I think the gift was like
gift.
part of it, and then like my aunt created the guest book because her thing is Shutterfly guest books, so she made those for us, so we have that as the
Right.
thing.
I didn't know, so I have no idea. I thought sponsors is just kind of like witnesses that sign the
Yeah.
the thing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
That's part
what-
of it?
Yeah, that's
Okay.
part of the
But like
responsibility.
the best is when you see like at another friend's wedding, because she married a Latino man, and so they had a sponsor for the mariachi band that played before at the like hors d'oeuvre like cocktail hour, and I just remember like, oh, that's so cool. But and I'm like, oh yeah, so and so is a sponsor. I'm like, okay. And then when it was over, he like legit walked up to the guys, took out a giant wad of cash, and then went. Like, here you go.
Oh,
Here it is.
yeah.
And I'm like, that's what a real sponsor's supposed to do? Oh my God, I've never seen this.
Yeah, I went to an Armenian wedding one time, and they just threw money in the air.
oh my God, that
when
was
they were
the
doing their
best
first
thing
dance.
ever.
What?
It was like
They made it rain?
yeah,
Yes,
it was like
it was so much fun.
It was
On
like-
everyone or just the couple?
$50, probably more than that, like $100, like of all ones.
Oh my God.
And they would just throw it up in the air.
And then you have to scramble to get
It
it.
was
Someone
the-
has to get
But
it.
like
it
stripper
was the
style,
best
I
feeling.
know.
the broom and like the garbage bag. Making the money off the-
There were designated people around the couple as they were dancing that were picking up the cash.
Wow, I want that job. Hey, you're the cash wrangler.
But that's their version of the money dance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. we're a version of the money dance.
All right, so let's go through the whole kind of wedding
Sure.
extravaganza event.
Extravagant.
And then kind of just talk about each aspect of it.
Okay. So there's the first ring. No, I'm just kidding.
No, we'll skip engagement story. So venue, Elaine and Mikey decided to do a Catholic wedding.
Yes.
Yes. What was that? What went to that decision?
So I wanted to do the traditional Filipino ceremony. So the cord, coin, veil thing. And when I brought it up to my parents, their reaction to that was, well, if you're going to do that, it has to be in a church. And then when my dad said that, I was like, but I went to your wedding. I went to Joe and Gurley's wedding, and you all had the same ceremony, and not in a church. And I was just like, well, whatever, fine. Like when my dad said it has to be a church, I'm like, it's one less thing to think about. Like, so we picked a church.
Nice.
That's my interpretation. Mike, what was your interpretation?
I mean, I think just for like
Nodding. Mike's like, yep.
I mean, okay, so I mean, a lot of the decisions I feel like, at least on my part, was very much around like not trying to like rile up my parents too much. So it's like, oh, like Catholic stuff, whatever. So let's do all the Catholic things. I mean, did it in the biggest Catholic church we could have done it at.
Yes, you did.
gosh.
Cathedral,
yes,
right?
you
At
did.
We went
the
to
Los Angeles Cathedral.
Yeah.
And did all the different parts of that, right? So, you know.
Yeah. We
I
did
mean-
we did it, but like we figured out a way to like subvert it at the same time.
Oh, do you want to talk about that?
Can we talk about that?
course.
Okay.
Yeah.
So like we did the traditional things, like the cord was our friends who had recently gotten married. So it was John Eric and Christine Arkel, the folks who own the Park's Finest. So they had gotten married like the year before, or months before. And then the candle was like your best friend and my best friend. Oh, then the other thing that we subverted was that
Wait, how is that subverting?
that's not. I'm trying to guess what it is. Our bridal party was mixed gendered. So I had 2 bridesmen and 3 bridesmaids, and you had
And I had my best man
Best
was
woman.
a best woman, my friend Jen, who was actually a guest on this podcast.
Yes.
The one on housing and gentrification. And then my other friend and my other friend Dee, who's actually getting married later this year, and I'm gonna be one of her
bridesmaids?
groomsmaids.
Groomsmaids.
Or yeah, something like that. I don't know. Bridesmen.
Yeah.
Bridesmen. There you go. But no, I mean, I think when we thought about it, like on the one hand, like, yeah, let's do something very like traditional and Catholic because we wanted to kind of have in deference to kind of like those traditions that we've kind of seen as part of, as being uniquely Filipino Catholic. But at the same time, we're like, well, we want to be true to like who our friends and our community and our families are. And so we're like, let's make our, you know, groomsmen and bridesmaids like as representative and as diverse as possible.
And we
you know?
could have done it where like the 2 guys on my side could have just been groomsmen for him, and the 2 women on his side could have been women for me. But like that didn't
Why?
make any
Yeah.
logical sense because these were our friends and those were his friends. And then our Bible and rosary sponsors was my cousin Vince, and then our really good friend Allison Dela Cruz. And Allison is queer, and
Allison was also our day of planner.
and Allison was our day of planner. But
She did our first reading.
see, we're all same friends here. Ryan, you
Oh,
would have
cool.
been there.
Nice.
Sorry.
Thanks, guys. Carry on.
But Allison is like she presents butch. So when she came up, I think like with the Bible and rosary, I feel like traditionally the woman would hold the rosary and then the man would hold the Bible for some reason. Like I'm thinking logically that's the way. But when they went up, they reversed. So Vince held the rosary and Allison held the Bible.
That's cool.
So that was like subtle, like this is our way of making
But it was just hilarious when we had the rehearsal earlier. It was like the day before maybe.
Yeah.
And everyone showed up and started lining up how we thought it was supposed to be, and
How we
tried to
wanted it to be.
rearrange it
Yeah.
to what the church wanted it to look like. It's like no, Jen is my best woman.
Yeah.
Jen is over here. So it was
Yeah.
kind of like, it was a little bit like I don't think we forewarned any of our families that this was how things were going to get set up.
Yeah, it just happened.
And
that
so
way.
when they saw like Jen and Dee on my side, they're like, "Wait, what's happening over here?"
Yeah.
So
Wait, so did they themselves line up like the way?
We arranged them the
they
way
arranged
that
them, okay.
we wanted them to
And
be.
the church was like, "Oh, what's going on?"
The day of the church coordinator was like, "Well, how come the women are over here? They need to be on the side." And we were like, "No, because like she's the
Yeah,
best." I had to say like she's the best woman, and the day of coordinator was like, I looked like I was speaking Japanese to her, like
Nice.
she was so confused, but it worked out.
I mean, if anything, that was probably the most Filipino American we could have made it. Like all the traditions, but also very specific
Yeah.
to our, understanding of community
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
people that matter to us. So
And we didn't have make everybody wear the same dress. We didn't have everybody wear the same suit. It was just like, here's a color scheme, stick to it.
Yeah.
but there were like definitely barongs in like the place,
Yeah.
especially a lot of my uncles,
Yeah. And it was supposed to be like Sunday. I remember it was supposed to be like Sunday church wise. And Mike's mom showed up in a ball gown and his dad showed up in a tuxedo. And I'm like, okay.
Awesome sauce.
I was like, all right.
They thought it was an association dinner.
Totally. We should have had the vicinity.
It would have been awesome if they came with a sash.
So I think that was one of the reasons why we didn't have a church wedding, me and Girly.
Yeah.
Was because we wanted to like, we didn't want to deal with the subverting Catholic Church traditions. We wanted to make our own traditions.
I like that
So-
about your wedding.
Yeah.
too. Me
You would have liked it too.
Me too.
right?
Right, Ryan?
Yeah.
So like our first reading was the Philippine creation story. How malakas
Malakas
and maganda. And then we mixed it with some Catholic things. We did the Our Father.
Yeah. Well, the second reading was an Apache poem.
Yeah.
Crystal did that one.
And then we did the cord and the veil. We didn't do coins. We did rice instead.
I like that touch. That was cool.
Yeah. And then go ahead.
And I also gave my bridesmaids an array of colors that they could pick from. So it was kind of like this rainbow.
They looked like Skittles.
Yeah, it did. It looked like Skittles.
People call them Fanta girls.
I liked it.
Fanta.
I loved
All the
it.
different
But
flavors.
my thinking was we were going to be outdoors. It was in the middle of summer, and we were in a garden setting. So I figure, there's going to be a lot of colors represented in the foliage and the all the flowers in the garden. So I figure, let's just go with that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then we still did fulfill the Catholic thing where we did a small ceremony the day before or 2 days before. So we did that to appease our
Your parents?
parents and, because we are Catholic.
I remember the first time I took my parents to our outdoor ceremony venue, and my dad kept saying "Oh, it's just like the Philippines. It's just like the Philippines." I'm like, "Okay, great, awesome, yes."
And then I remember after our church ceremony, my aunt went up to me and she said, "Remember, this is your real wedding anniversary."
Wow. You're like,
unfortunately, that's hard for me to remember.
So
it's whatever the paperwork says. No, I was kidding.
it's true. That's the paperwork. That's the official one.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's not the big ceremony that we had.
But I also was really adamant about having our friend Dylan basically preside over our ceremony because he's the one who introduced the two of us.
Oh,
cool.
that's nice.
Aside from your aunt, this question is open to everybody. Did you guys get any kind of, critiques from family that said, "Oh, why did you guys do it this way?" Or was it kind of like, you know what, over, it's done? we had a good time, etc. Or we're,
I mean, I heard my uncle said that he didn't want to do something because it wasn't a church wedding. It was like third hand knowledge.
okay.
And yeah, I think that's the only critique I got for the ceremony part. I think I did get critique from my parents that they didn't get to invite everybody that they wanted to.
Oh yeah,
for the
Right.
wedding. So
Yeah, I was on their
yeah,
list.
that's a whole different story.
Ryan was on their
I was
list.
on their list.
They're on my parents' list.
Yeah.
Sorry, so blame my parents.
Well, my ideal situation would have been a very intimate party with like 50 people.
Ooh.
Because I figured like, oh, we could just spend a lot of money on food and beverages, but we went with a 250 situation.
And that's small.
251.
That-
Could have been.
We
Could have
had
been.
250.
Yeah. My sister had like 400.
Whoa.
His sister had her
Where do you
wedding
even have
in
that?
one of two of the largest ballrooms in Los Angeles.
Did you go to the
Convention Center.
at the hotel in Century City?
Yeah, no. It's the Universal Hilton.
Oh my God.
And I can't. The entire time I was there, I was like, "This can't be ours. We can't do this. I don't want this."
Yeah.
I heard flack from some aunties because like we didn't do the you go to every table take a picture thing, and people were like, well, "How come we don't have a picture with you?" And I'm like, "I don't know because I didn't want to do that."
Because our reception was in like a small, well, not small, but like it was in a dim sum place.
yeah, we did it.
And the tables were really close together, so I was like,
Yeah.
I'm not gonna try to navigate.
It was the best
tables,
food. It was the best food.
Yeah, it was. We did the 8-course, like the traditional Chinese banquet. The food was good. I heard. I don't know if I ate any of it, but people complained that the rice came at the end, and I'm like, it's a Chinese wedding. That's what happens. And they were really cheap on. They're like creeps on the cake part. So we had bought a cake to feed 250, but the way that the staff had cut it, they cut it like super small that we had a full sheet cake left.
Wow.
And
They sold it to customers later.
I think we gave it to SIPA.
we gave it to SIPA
and
because
the kids ate it.
because Ernie Tamayo, former guest, the social work, the therapist one, he had an event the following day. So Ernie was our MC. He had an event with the SIPA kids the following day. And we were like, just take this cake with you and give it to them. Because I'm not taking a full sheet cake home because we had to go to Hawaii the next day.
Oh, nice.
So Ryan, would you have a wedding at the church?
If I were to get married, I probably, let's start this way. I think my ideas of a wedding have changed from when I was younger.
So we're not going to Vegas.
No,
You don't have to invite me. It's cool.
No, I think
I understand. It's reciprocal, right?
if I do have a wedding, Joe, of course I will invite you.
It might get lost in the mail.
I don't know. I guess I've had ideas of what a wedding should be, and I'm learning so much from what you guys are talking about. I've been part of weddings before. I just don't know, there's so much tradition that my family has kind of observed. I think that there are definitely things they want me to do that I probably wouldn't want to do. Maybe 20 years ago, if I was thinking about getting married, I would have wanted like a giant, like huge wedding. But now that I'm older, I'm like, I don't really, the wedding part is not really, I don't want it to be that big. But maybe I still do want to have a huge party. So I don't know. I don't know what I would do, but I would likely have it
At a church?
at a church.
Okay.
And I would probably have my choices in how I do it, but depends on who I'm supposed to be marrying. So
A church in Vegas?
no, I don't think. Well, I don't know. Maybe slot machine.
Ching, 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 ching.
I've been an officiant 2 times already, Ryan.
Have you?
Just FYI.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, how does
Anyway.
those work out? Are they still married?
They're still married.
They're still married.
One of them
Yes,
is
they're
one of
still
them Gurley's
married.
brother.
Yes.
So hopefully that works.
Well, the other thing that I was really adamant about going into the planning was, this is our party. I want to make this whole experience very much about who we are. Very much on the same tip as Elaine. And so, one of the things that my family has always had for as long as I can remember is an atang.
What's
So,
an atang?
An atang is an altar.
Okay.
Atang is altar, I guess, in Ilocano. And so every family party, we would put food and drinks on the altar. Basically, everything that people were consuming at the party, they would be on the altar for all of our ancestors. And so I wanted to have a setup like that at our wedding, which we did. But funny story. A friend of ours was not familiar with that tradition. And I guess during the cocktail hour, it was taking a little long for the food to come out. And,
No.
and then walked around and I was like, oh, where's the food on the
altar?
atang? Yeah. Come to find our friend ate the food
Nice.
on the altar.
Nice.
Thinking like that was what it was meant for.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, so we're not friends anymore. No, I'm kidding. So yeah, we talked about.
invited me. I wouldn't have eaten it.
Ryan, let's be real. I think both of us
I would have eaten it.
I am not said friend who ate that, by the way. I did not eat that dog.
Okay, so we talked about the atang. We also talked about having cord and veil. People wearing barongs during the wedding. What other kind of Filipino or Filipino American traditions have you incorporated in your weddings?
We had the coins, so
Okay.
you guys had rice, but we
Yeah.
had the coins. And I
Or seen, or it doesn't have to be just yours, but have you seen?
Oh, seen.
okay.
Yeah. So the coins, I remember when I was putting those together, I tried to have things that represented like different aspects of our lives. So there were like Disney coins that we had gotten because like Mike and I are Disney freaks. And there were pesos that I think get them?
Yeah, I
from
got them from somewhere.
Philippines or
Yeah.
something. And so that was important to us. I just know the coins part. I went to a wedding. So in the tradition, you're supposed to be that the groom puts the coins in the bride's hands and then it passes back, right? And it's supposed to represent
Like what's mine's yours, kind of like
and like
wealth.
being able to wealth and being taken care of. We went to a wedding when that whole part of the ceremony was happening, and the couple dropped the coins.
Allah.
And I remember going, like I know I audibly went like out loud because I'm like, no, the wedding is cursed. Like I was just like that in my mind.
Is that really the case when
Well,
the coins fall?
It's supposed to be like because the coin's supposed to represent like also
Your
like wealth.
fiscal, your
Yeah,
your money, your life.
So if you
So I
drop
have
it, then you're like
an
you know,
ominous like
Yeah.
it's a bad sign.
So I totally went, and I'm like, I think the couple is fine. So who knows? But I just in my mind going, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. Oh my god.
Have you been to weddings where they have a rondalia?
what?
Yes,
Oh.
I've been to a wedding where there was a rondalia.
That would be cool.
Like
My
a-
sister.
Yeah.
No, Mike, have you been to? No, Ryan.
No.
No.
How about
You guys pay attention to a lot of details.
really? I totally do.
Wait, didn't we have rondalia at ours?
Yes, during the
Oh,
cocktail hour.
So then I have been to a wedding with a Rondalia. I don't remember. Sorry.
We
I mean,
serve
I heard about it.
we serve Filipino food at our wedding reception.
Yeah, we did.
Have you been to a wedding where it's Filipino food?
Yes.
Yes, your wedding.
Well, besides our
we were
wedding.
there.
Besides our wedding.
Ours was family style, so it wasn't like per person. So it was just
like that.
large
Yeah,
dishes
I like that.
set out in the middle of the table.
I wish it was larger. They should have bigger portions.
If the Park's Finest counts as wedding food or Filipino food, I've had that at weddings.
Oh yeah.
Because a couple friend of ours had that. That was fun.
How about the Filipino traditional dances at a wedding?
Wait, there are Filipino traditional dances?
Yeah, people have that during the reception.
Oh, I have
like what?
I have performed.
Like tinikling and stuff.
I have performed at a
Yeah.
wedding like that.
Like
Yeah.
oh,
What, singing
like
Jodeci
you've done a
songs?
traditional dance?
Yeah, like when I was in
folk
college
dance. Oh.
at UC Irvine Kababayan, the club was asked to perform at a wedding. So the bride and groom, their first dance was going to be a Maria Clara dance. So they paid the club a fee to be a part of the of the wedding and to choreograph the dance. So it's like obviously the couple, and then there was like 3 other couples, and we did it as a fundraiser because it was in the summer. So we just like we did it, and that was like the one time I ever did Maria Clara because I'm not graceful enough. I look like an awkward panda trying to sway balance, and I just remember thinking like, why are we doing this? I don't understand. But that was like the one traditional like wedding type thing. I mean, I would love it if someone did like what is that? A sing-kill, like the fan dance.
Oh, my cousin's
really?
wedding. They had
That'd
sing-kill
be so cool.
because they were part of a dance troupe.
Really?
That makes sense though if they're part of a dance troupe.
I thought you meant the couple or somebody like there are dances that are specific to weddings.
first
That's
dance?
what I thought.
That's what I was thinking. The same thing, like traditional, like first dance,
Yeah.
like mom and
Like,
son
there's
and
yeah.
daddy daughter kind of thing. I don't know.
But like a choreographed piece.
Yeah. I see it more and more now in like some weddings have the couple's first dance is like more choreographed. I guess not more and more, but I guess in social media or YouTube.
Yeah,
like,
I feel like there's a Pinterest, like with weddings, there's a Pinterest problem or Pinterest inspiration where people pick out like, oh, we have to do this. Like there are certain like social media markers that you have to do. Like we got married before the age of every wedding having a hashtag.
Hashtags. Yeah.
So like
yeah.
our weddings don't have hashtags,
Yeah.
but then like years followed, every wedding I went to had a hashtag.
Yeah. Or like if people don't have. Remember, there's this one time where everybody had a disposable camera.
Yes.
Like on the tables,
Yeah.
but now
Yes.
people don't use that anymore.
We
right?
did a photo booth.
We did a photo booth,
Yeah.
but they don't really do the photo booth, do they? Well, sometimes they do, right?
Sometimes they do.
They're
Yeah.
not as popular now as they were
Yeah,
years back.
that's funny. So, have you looked at your parents' wedding photos before?
Yeah.
Yes, I was in them.
What?
What? For another time.
No, so I was born before my parents actually got married.
Escándalos.
I know. I think that's why they never really gave me a hard time about,
They're like,
hurrying me to get married. So,
I assume they got married in the Philippines, right?
yes, they did.
So, what was their wedding like, from your knowledge?
I think it was at my grandfather's house. I just remember as
You remember it?
Yeah, I remember running around the house during the party.
Wow.
she's like, I was 13.
Last year.
It was me and my cousin Julius. Like we were both old enough to be there. But I don't remember the actual ceremony part. I just remember running around the house,
Interesting.
being at the party.
How about you all?
So I looked at my parents' wedding album as a kid. So my dad was a widower, and I didn't know that as a 5-year-old kid. And so my oldest brother and my sister were in the wedding as the flower girl and the I forget what my brother was.
Ring
but
bearer?
I don't think he was a ring bearer, but they were and so I was so confused. I was like, why are they there and why am I not there? You know, kind of thing.
I should be there.
Yeah, I'm like, what?
I didn't get invited to this wedding.
And then I started trying to put pieces together. I'm like, wait a minute, that doesn't follow any kind of logic chronologically. Aren't you supposed to get married first? You know, kind of thing in my very young brain. But I thought that was kind of interesting. They explained it to me later. And so fast forward to the early 2000s, I looked at their wedding album again. And this is kind of interesting. Their reception was a breakfast.
What?
It was like a 7:30 in the morning breakfast. Their ceremony was at 6 a.m.
Holy crap.
Wowie.
To avoid the heat?
That's what I said. I was like, is it to avoid the heat? My dad was like, nah, it's cheaper. It's more affordable to do it that way. The later you get in the day, the more expensive it got. But it wasn't uncommon in the Philippines to have your wedding that early.
So when Ryan told me this, I called my dad immediately, and my dad was like, "Yeah, our reception was 9:30.
Yeah, it was
In the morning?
In the morning.
Oh, look at these pictures now.
Wow.
So my
I
dad
don't know if you
actually,
could tell by the pictures, can you?
my I don't know, maybe if there's a time on the
The invite should have it. That's how I found out. I was like, your invite, it says 7th. What? Because yeah, the wedding was at 6 a.m. I'm like, who was awake?
because my
during that time.
dad scanned all the pictures from his wedding album, and I have their Shutterfly on my phone, so I can look at it.
Oh, isn't there like a tradition where you're supposed to get married before a certain time? It's like bad luck if you don't.
Wait, like time of day?
I don't think it's a Filipino thing, but I think
I
it's
don't
like
know.
No.
Maybe.
Okay, never mind.
I just know
Yeah,
the
time
one
of
where
day.
like siblings aren't supposed to get married in the
same
same
year.
year because
Yeah.
otherwise it's like bad
It's bad
juju.
luck.
Really?
Yeah.
Do you think like the Filipino American I always think about hearing your stories about how your weddings went. I'm kind of blown away at the ideas that you guys put into it because I almost feel like a lot of Filipino weddings I've gone to here in the States is very very formulaic. Like there's like the church stuff and then you go to the reception and I mean it's all fun.
There's like
you know,
certain
like,
markers.
There's certain markers and there's like like you can almost I joke like that you can almost follow along kind of like what's gonna happen
What's gonna come
next.
next?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, we got to the reception after cocktail hour. Of course you wonder if it's open bar, but
It's the most important question of the day.
open
My
bar.
parents got married at 4:45 p.m.
Oh, okay.
So it's-
Broke the
Probably
tradition.
Yeah.
Dinner.
Yeah.
But I kind of wonder about whether like there's a trend away from that.
I mean, I know there are weddings that we've been to that changed that tradition.
That's
right?
cool. I think I like that.
Yeah, they have a small ceremony. They don't do it at the church.
Yeah.
But I know that I don't say majority, but a lot of Filipino Americans have a very formulaic
Yeah.
wedding.
Yeah. I believe so. And like there's always like the church ceremony and then there's a gap between the ceremony and the reception because they need to go take pictures. And Mike and I it just ended up being a tradition. Like if we were in a wedding in Pasadena, it was always that, okay, we're at a wedding in Pasadena. So we go to the church. We have 2 hours to kill. We go to the Hat and we would eat, like we would demolish. The Hat is a pastrami restaurant in the city. And we would get pastrami fries and just eat it because we knew that we would be hungry
Yeah.
at the reception because like dinner always starts super late. So I was like, I'm going to eat all these things and drink all the orange bang I can drink in my nice clothes. And like, but by the end of eating all that, my lipstick is gone. And I'm like, whatever. Like at least I'm full.
We would always go to Jamba Juice.
Yeah. We would go get
Between
juice in
weddings.
between.
Yeah.
You're so
Yeah.
healthy. Mike and I are getting pastrami
Just to
fries.
make sure that you don't
Reception.
pass out, kind of thing.
Yeah, totally.
It's true.
Because when you get to the reception venue, there may be hors d'oeuvres, but then there's all this like ceremony
Yeah.
at the beginning of the reception, so you don't eat.
Yeah.
That and I think a lot of wedding season is usually hotter season.
It's in the summer.
So it's hot.
Right.
Yeah.
I always appreciate when a wedding venue is near an In-N-Out. Because I will eat an In-N-Out.
I did not expect that statement to come. Yeah, that's great. That's awesome.
There was one
Actually, really
I
great
thought
idea.
she was gonna say. I thought she was gonna say something like, "I always, appreciate when there's air conditioning at the
I mean, yeah,
because it's
that
summer."
too.
I didn't expect you to say it's close to an In-N-Out. That's
there
awesome.
There was one time where, like LA is a big city and there's so much sprawl, right? And the church ceremony was on the west side. It was like at a church in Santa Monica. The reception was in Pasadena.
Oh my gosh.
That is a
What?
large swath of land.
Wow.
It's like 20 miles, really, right?
What route did you take?
Well,
I'm
we
just
made a
kidding.
pit stop.
You don't have to.
We pit stop at the.
Californians.
No, this is the best part. We made a pit. We're like, we got like 2-3 hours. We went to Porto's in Burbank and ate like a full lunch.
How were you able to make
God.
it?
And then we went to the reception and it hadn't even started yet. I'm like, yes, thank God I ate.
Oh man.
Also, yeah, lipstick gone because I probably ate a potato ball. And it was totally gone.
Have you been to a wedding where they release doves?
Yes.
Yes.
That's a very Filipino tradition.
Yeah.
Really?
Is it really? That's Filipino?
I don't think I've ever.
It is.
Isn't it?
There
I
are
thought
pictures.
that was just like people wanting to release
No,
stuff.
there's. I'm looking at my parents' ceremony and
Did they do that?
yeah, but the weird thing is
Really?
they did it in a building.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
look,
They do it inside.
They're inside, and then the next picture is they release the doves.
Yeah.
Wait.
Where does it go?
It comes
Yeah.
back and then they do it again for another wedding.
Do they really?
I'm pretty sure they have
Wow.
the same doves. Sometimes.
I've been to a wedding where they released butterflies.
Butterflies.
Oh, did they actually fly away?
Yeah, but like the butterflies were in like a box before that. I don't know. I kind of felt bad about
RuPaul's
that.
Drag Race. That was something that one of the queens did, and then like their gimmick was that they opened like their boobs, and then like butterflies were supposed to come out, and then nothing happened.
I can seriously
like-
say I've never seen that at a wedding.
Oh, it was so sad.
Never at a wedding.
Boobs?
Boobs.
Boobs and I don't know.
Boobs and
butterflies coming out.
butterflies.
Yeah.
Boobs and butterflies.
That's gonna be the name of this episode.
Oh
Boobs
my
and
gosh.
butterflies weddings.
Starring Ryan.
Oh no, I've emceed a wedding.
Oh, yeah.
I can see you do that.
Yeah,
You'd be a
totally.
fun MC.
Was
Was it a wedding with people you knew?
yes,
You
and
just showed up to a wedding, started talking to my friends. Like, hey, I was invited to this wedding, guys.
well, I kind of get, I
No.
kind of
This
get what you
could be
mean
so
because
much
like
job.
Some are
sometimes it's a
hired
job.
MCs.
Some are
Yeah.
hired MCs, like they're part of like the DJ crew or something. and-
Yeah.
And they
No.
butcher all the Filipino names.
Yeah. So
yes.
mine was actually a lot of fun. I was like, I can't believe they're gonna give me a mic and alcohol and make me announce names during the entrance.
Yeah.
But it was a lot of fun.
You could totally do it.
Yeah.
Ernie did it for our wedding, and then because of that, he ended up being the person for another wedding. And then I was just like, people kept asking, like, "Hey, we seen that guy before. Is he a cousin that we don't know?" And I'm like, "He's our friend."
He has a really good announcer voice.
Yeah, and it was his side gig before like he had the babies, because now he has babies. So, so you should totally do it right.
I don't know if I could do it again, but
Enough
that was
liquor?
that was interesting. That was a fun wedding as well. Filipino American wedding, and I had a blast with it because it was, I've never done that before, so it was just kind of at least for me, like I've never really participated in that way. Usually, like I'm a junior groomsman or a groomsman or something like that. So they
Is that
asked
what
me
they
to be
call
an MC.
junior groomsmen?
Yeah.
When I was younger, I was like
Oh.
junior groomsman and stuff. And singing, I used to like I mentioned earlier, singing at weddings.
That's a song that's dirty.
Oh, you know what I love is like the I don't know if you have this on your list, Joe, but like I don't know if you guys had a DJ at your wedding or like a band, but usually if it's Filipino American weddings, usually like a DJ.
Yeah.
And I love the dinner
The
music.
music.
Because like Kenny G's gonna be on there because they don't want you to they want you to have a nice pleasant dinner, and so Kenny G plays.
That's supposed to be what happens, but I've been to weddings where there was one where it was like 90 slow jams.
Yes.
Oh, that's
the
awesome.
entire reception.
That would be
And I remember
great.
eating going, is this so in love?
Because it's like those non like fast dance music, right?
Yeah.
You want like
that
the
mid tempo,
soft, like
that jagged
You know
edge,
what?
let's get married.
yeah,
No, 90s slow jams are the best, like dinner music.
yes
For
yes.
weddings.
and Kenny
Yes.
G.
And for any kind of occasion, they're the best. Kind of.
So apparently Ryan's wedding reception will have
We'll have
Kenny G
Diet G.
playing throughout.
Kenny G.
Now.
Did you ever have to do the best man or best woman maid of honor speech?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
We
I
had
did
that.
it for the first time.
Oh, I thought you were asking if we have to do it.
No, have you ever?
I've
done
never
it?
done it.
But we've had it at our wedding.
We had it at our wedding.
Yeah, but have you personally done that?
Mike has to do it for.
Oh, you have to do it
Oh
too.
my God. I didn't even think about that. Yeah.
Oh, it's
Oh, Mike.
So I'm going to be the best man at our former roommate's wedding, which is happening ? But
We don't know when it's supposed to
Yeah, I
happen.
don't know when it's happening. Whatever. Wow. I
Mike,
prepare for
Mike
that.
just got
Uh-oh.
nervous right
Yeah,
now.
I
Mike,
know.
Mike just had like a
man.
light bulb in his brain going, "Oh shit!"
I thought you
I
just
have
show up to
do
a
this.
party and get to be like at the big table or something.
I mean, you do, but your payment
Yeah.
is you write a speech.
Oh God. All right.
You also have to plan a bachelor party.
Oh no.
Let's say all the things
That's
Mike's
what
gonna have to
happens when you
do.
say yes, Mike.
Yeah.
I just thought it was like,
man.
oh, that's nice, man. Sure, I'll go to your wedding and be up there with you. I didn't realize
I'll hand you the ring.
I signed up for work.
It's a good thing we're
Oh,
having
yeah.
this conversation
I
then.
know.
A lot of responsibility comes with that.
I'm still looking at Mike's face. He's still like floored by this. He's like, "Oh shit, I got some stuff to do."
Have you?
Damn it, Paulo.
I have actually for the first time last year. I was asked by a good friend of mine to speak at her wedding with her wife, and I do public speaking all the time, but this is the first time it's ever been quite personal, and it was so hard to
Were
do.
you shaking?
I was really nervous. I was really nervous, but they didn't have like a maid of honor or a best man, but I think I guess out of the people that were gonna speak, I was maybe the least shy. I think anybody could have part of their wedding party. Anyone would have wanted to or could have given a speech like that. But yeah, it was really nerve wracking. So
Yeah.
good luck, Mike. But I haven't, and it was a lot of fun.
Mike, you'll be fine.
You'll be
Oh my
fine.
God.
I only slept like 2 hours before the speech I had to make.
And were you drunk?
I was a little tipsy when I
Wait,
made
did you
it.
write a speech, or did you just like, I'm gonna show up, I'm like important to this guy,
No, I wrote
you have
it.
to
tell
write
me
it.
stories?
You have
I
to
wrote it.
write
Like,
it.
oh my
No,
God,
show
Paulo,
the
remember the
talking
time
points.
that you wouldn't stop cooking food with bad garlics in the
Oh,
whole
are you
house?
starting-
So like garlic for like 3 years, you know, like those kind of stories.
Yes, of course.
I just told a story.
You have to outline it, obviously.
Yeah, you got to write something down. Don't go off.
No, don't wing it. Don't wing
the
it.
past dating life, you know, those kind of things.
Don't wing it because you also don't want to say something that you should not say.
Okay.
Yeah,
And then you're
don't
gonna
do
regret something that you should have
Paula's
said.
gonna hear this episode and be like, "Oh my God, what did I just do?"
that. Paul's gonna be like, "You're not my best man."
All right, tough question.
Okay.
We've been to a lot of Filipino weddings. Do you think a lot of them are too opulent, too overreaching when planning their weddings? Is it too much of a status symbol?
Maybe.
You know, there have been a few parties where I'm like, wow, this is really over the top, but for my standards, I mean, you know, if
It depends on the person,
right? If
Yeah.
that's what represents who that couple is, then fine. But I have my tastes, and I have my level of opulence, and you know, specific values and things that I want to put forth in our life. And
Yeah, I think it depends on the couple,
yeah.
right? When we went to my cousin's wedding, like Vince married Patty in their Thai, and like I didn't know this, but like Thai people don't RSVP. Like you don't send out.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like you just show, like you let everyone know, and then they just show up.
Did they say patay?
Oh my gosh! Wow.
No, but that'd be awesome.
You like that, Ryan?
That just happened.
It did.
Joe just said that.
Bad.
Met my quota. I met my quota.
Yes, that joke. It happened. But I remember, so they had the Sportsman's Lodge, the ballroom
Yeah.
there, and that ballroom seats like 500. And so I remember like the whole room, like I'd been there into that ballroom before, but only half before like another party. So I was just like the whole thing. And it was fun. And I wouldn't say it was necessarily opulent, but I think it was because like the Thai tradition had like their family had to invite, like her parents had to invite everybody at the Thai community that they knew.
Well, I mean, we all have to. We have obligatory
Invites. Yeah.
Yeah, all the time.
But I know for us, it was in whatever reason we could afford.
Yeah, of course.
Because we and when my dad asked for specific people to be invited, where I was like, I can't because I couldn't invite other people. He said, I will write a check for these people. So I told him, okay, well, if you pay for them, then they can have their own table. So he paid for like certain people.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of the trappings of the wedding itself and the reception felt like very opulent, and the people that we included on our guest list was very much like, if it was just left to our own devices, it'd probably be a much more slimmer guest list.
Yeah.
But it was a lot of people like that my parents wanted and your parents wanted, right?
Yeah.
And so like a lot of the things that ended up being a part of the wedding felt like it was way more than I think we would have wanted, I think, from the
Totally.
beginning, just because it was like appeasing, you know, family, also facing into certain cultural traditions that we wanted to like
Yeah.
respect, and also that people kind of expected. I mean, I think like when we were saying earlier about how our wedding was kind of also a subversion to some of those things, I mean, I think that was our way of balancing that out for us to make it feel like, well, you know, like we have to have like this Catholic wedding, but the people who will be involved with it will be our closest friends,
Yeah.
people in the community, you know, like even like the reception where like, yeah, we had a DJ, but it was like one of the kids that I worked with when I worked at SIPA, DJing, you know, and then it ended up also being one of our other friends, our friend Patrick also DJ'd for part of it too. So like we found ways to incorporate people that were kind of more grounded in our value system and our belief system, while still having a very kind of traditional, I mean, we had the jeepney, right? We didn't have like a limo driving us from the church to like the reception.
Yeah.
We rode the jeepney. So if you've ever been to historic Filipino town, there's a jeepney and jeepney tours that happen. And so like our friend Aki, who's the executive director and also former guest of the podcast, drove us from the church to the reception in a way of kind of like being like, this is the community that we're representing.
And we're the second
You
couple to do that because Girly and Joe were the first to
Yeah.
have it at their wedding.
So we started that tradition, I think. Now everyone's doing it for their weddings, right? So.
So, But in terms of guest list, that's
That's one.
Those are like obligatory things that you have to
I
do.
know what
But in terms of like
You're talking about like
opulence-
showing off.
showing off. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I've never been to this wedding, but I heard that one Filipino couple had a helicopter
Holy
Wow.
shit.
and they coptered into some hotel.
Okay.
That's some baller. That's some crazy rich Asian shit.
Yeah. But it's not like, they're not super, rich.
But
they're not
they-
mayaman.
But
right?
that was what they wanted.
But that's what they wanted. Have you been to any weddings that are similar to that or that kind of opulence?
Nah.
Expense?
No.
No?
I don't think,
think
so.
so.
Yeah.
I've heard of, but they weren't Filipino. They were like Chinese. They might have been Taiwanese, where like in that tradition, you're supposed to bring an envelope, right? Like no gift. You're supposed to give an envelope. That's the tradition. And the invitation said no gift, no envelope. So when you put that out there on the invitation, no gift, it means you're telling the people who are coming that I am rich enough to throw this baller ass party. I don't want to use your money.
Wow.
And I was like, can I go to that wedding? I want to go to that wedding. What does that look like? What amazing things happened there? That's the crazy rich Asian where I'm
Yeah.
like, can I be the fly on the wall for
Yeah.
that?
Because certain weddings are very much status symbols.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Right. I think it can escape some of that stuff.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, let's face it. It's a party. How good of a party can it be? A lot of times, even I imagine if you're going to put together a wedding, it also involves your parents, sort of like your obligatory invites are your parents' friends, perhaps, right? That they want to show how proud they are of their kids getting married. So I think a lot of that comes into play when it comes to like what the public can see. Traditionally, that's what weddings are. It's supposed to be like a public display of a couple getting together, right? It's supposed to be like this celebratory kind of like a way for the community to see it, to witness this couple getting married. So I don't see it ever kind of going away. But I've never gone to one where it's kind of like over the top. It also just depends on who the people are, but helicopter seems a
I
little
feel
over the
like it's also like it's the people you surround yourself with,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, of
and
course.
like I don't know if I necessarily have any friends who would do something like that, or if I did, maybe they like did not invite me to their weddings, which is okay because I wouldn't have been even able to afford the gift that would be on that registry. So it's kind of like I think I surround myself with enough grounded people that we're pretty normal. So all I have to say for folks planning weddings is whatever your budget is, add $10,000 to the budget because that's what happens. You think you're only going to spend one thing, and then you're like, oh, more things. And key advice that I got from a friend was remember you're getting married, not weddinged. That was what someone told me at not a reception, at a party, because I was like, oh, of course. Like, what are you talking about? But I think it's because people get so bogged down in the middle of wedding planning that you think that this is the end all, and you realize, like, no, this is just the party. Like, you have to set up your life. So
That was very much a part of our thinking as well.
We had to compromise.
To temper the spending.
We had to compromise.
Yeah.
Okay, so one of the last discussion questions is, what are your favorite wedding songs during the reception?
Not Last Dance. I hate that song because I'm like, oh my gosh, and We Are Family. Come on,
Yeah.
something else.
I hate single ladies during the
the bouquet toss?
bouquet toss. It's now become like a tradition to play it. I'm like, I hate this song. But you're saying what we love.
Yeah,
so-
sorry.
like,
Not the question.
I know. I was like, you immediately went to the bad stuff you hated.
Because I'm cool with everything else.
I love when Cupid Shuffle comes on.
Yes.
When the line dancing part of the reception happens. Like it's like electric slide, achy
Yes.
breaky, Cupid Shuffle, wobble. And I'm like, yeah,
Wobble.
this is the best time.
And of course, Toro Toro.
Stop it.
I was waiting for it to come.
Stop it.
Gosh. So good.
Yeah, everyone around this table except for me and Girlie just started totoing in their seats.
Because it's where all generations come together.
Okay,
all
sure.
of them. Little kids.
And where
adults.
You mean all the aunties?
Where Joe gets on the dance floor and pushes the aunties to the side so he can stand in the center.
I have kind of an important question. Did you guys have a DI at your wedding?
Joe is the DI.
I've been to a wedding where there's been a DI. But yeah.
Well, what's a DI, Joe?
Dance instructor.
Oh, yeah, there you go. I don't know. People may not know.
Yeah. I love September, but apparently it was banned for my wedding.
Was it really?
So leading up to our wedding, we had gone to so many weddings. And it was like every single dance portion of the wedding got started with September. So by the time our wedding came along, I was like, no more Earth, Wind, and Fire. I don't want to hear Earth, Wind, and Fire at all at our party.
And now you regret it.
No, I don't regret it at all. I just wanted to hear a variety of other songs.
Like Poison by Velvet DeVoe.
Yeah, that's a good dance
Like-
song.
Step.
Do Me by Velvet DeVoe.
Oh no.
No. It's so funny how people sing along to that, kids and adults alike. Do me, baby.
Any other songs?
Have you ever been to a wedding that played Ain't No Fun?
Yeah.
Not a wedding.
Shut up,
Are you
really?
serious?
Sure.
Like the
non-censored version?
Oh, sure. Why not? I'm pretty sure.
I bet the one that said they played Shake It.
Shake It. That doesn't seem. Is that wrong?
Is it Shake It? Push It? Or
No, Shake It.
Oh.
Shake It.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
Shake It.
Yes.
Oh.
Is that really?
Shake
Really?
It.
I mean, Ain't No Fun is a whole nother level.
I know, totally.
Ain't No Fun has, I mean, the entire song.
It's terrible, but we all know the words to it because we grew up in the 90s.
Yeah,
and
I mean,
we
like
lived
there
in
were
here.
like high school dances where like they played the censored version, but the entire room would sing the words out.
Yeah.
loud.
That's why I'm like,
And
if
the
you've been
teachers
to
would
a
be like,
wedding,
"What's happening?"
like,
So when you go to a wedding, you're like,
I
"I'm not
can
talking about this
imagine.
anymore."
what weddings are you going to?
Hey, man.
I've been to one where like all the, everybody started dancing to what's that Superman song?
Superman.
The
yeah, the rap.
yeah.
What?
I forget. It's the dance is called the Superman, but isn't the song has a different name?
Oh,
Yeah.
I'm fascinated now.
No, you've heard the song.
I probably
We're just
have.
old.
We're just old and have no memories.
Do you think there's an association of DJs that kind of
Yeah.
Probably.
So
Yeah.
mixes together? It's like, hey, what's new in
Soldier Boy.
Oh,
Superman.
Yeah. Oh, because you were
Crank
just a
that.
dance.
Yeah.
Oh, we went to a wedding where they. Yeah. They played. I forgot what it's called, but essentially the song is like "Pop That Pussy."
Oh.
That song.
Oh my god.
They played that at a wedding, and I remember I was looking and I saw my cousin like singing it along, and I'm like, And then I looked at my other cousin and we're like, does she know what this song is about? And then we just looked at each other like, we're going to keep drinking and ignore this whole situation. So I was just like, oh, this is awkward.
All right. So, any other things about weddings you want to talk about?
Oh, my favorite thing about weddings, if it's like a half Filipino and it's like a half whatever not Filipino, so
Whatever.
like interracial,
Whatever.
So when we talk about pictures, how they do the family pictures, right? And you have to do the pose where like the entire family has to pose with the couple, and it's usually like if it's a white family, because that's what I remember, like the family picture is like their parents and their siblings, and it's like 5 people at the most. And then when it comes to the Filipino side, I remember this one photographer was like, family only. Like she kept yelling like family only for this picture. And there was my family when we do this picture is like 80 people deep.
Yeah.
And we were like, this is family. We're waiting. And then the photographer was like, what? And I'm like, this is the family. And the groom, who was white at the time, he's white. Not at the time. He's white.
Not anymore.
Now he's Filipino.
He was just like, no, they're all the family. They got to be in the picture. And the poor photographer was not prepared because she was just like, oh, okay. So she had to like back up. And it's just funny because you see the pictures later and it's like, and then like you can't even see all of us.
Yeah.
Because there's like 80 people.
It's like My Big Fat Greek Wedding.
yes,
that,
that scene basically. Yeah.
It's like very, all immigrant families are like that.
Yeah.
Most.
Yeah.
Some. All right. So that's all we have today. Thank you all for
Thanks for the
discussion.
tips, guys.
Yeah.
I can't wait to be invited to
Yes.
this wedding.
I can't wait to party.
If you're planning a wedding, Ryan, no, I'm just kidding. You're not yet.
Or you can also book Ryan for your MC.
Yeah. Think
Or
about
You can book Joe to be the DI.
Think about all the things that we've talked about, all the issues that you're gonna have to deal with. But at the end of the day, it's your one of the most important days of your life, and it's very fun. And just have fun with it. Don't make it too stressful.
Add 10,000 to your budget.
Make it your own.
Invite me. All right, bye.
So part 2 of this discussion will be divorce.
Oh.
So next episode, no, I'm just kidding.
And with that, remember, any thoughts on weddings and divorce, call 805-394-TFAL.
Just remember, engagement ring, wedding ring, suffering. Bye, y'all.
This Filipino American Life is produced by Michael Nailat. Our intro and outro music is by Roger Habon, aka 10.4 Raj. Resident reality checker Girly Colado, legal advisor Rianne Fajardo, and graphic design by Vincent Collyer.